with a new constitution, a new government that serves all Syrians. And this process will be determined by the Syrian people themselves. And the United States will do whatever we can to support them, including through humanitarian relief to help restore Syria after more than a decade of war and generations of brutality by the Assad family.
For more on this, let's welcome in now Wisconsin Congressman Derrick Van Orden, also a retired Navy SEAL. Congressman, welcome. Thanks for taking the time. Differing remarks, clearly, from these leaders here, but what do you think would be the best approach to keeping America safe?
Well, I think we have to understand the track record of both Joe Biden and Donald Trump when it comes to foreign affairs. Joe Biden has not made a single right move in the foreign affairs arena, in my opinion, in his entire presidency, or when he was vice president, or when he was a senator. On the other hand, Donald Trump has had a stellar record dealing with foreign affairs. So I am very, very concerned that we get involved in this conflict, and we have to understand the history here. This did not work in Afghanistan. It didn't work in Iraq. It didn't work in Libya. It's worked nowhere. So we have to be very, very certain that we do two things: protect Israel's equities and also the Kurds, who have been another steadfast ally in the region for decades.
And Congressman, President Biden, in his speech over the weekend here, he also made this claim. I'll get your reaction on the other side. Watch.
You know, for years, the main backers of Assad have been Iran, Hezbollah, and Russia. But over the last week, their support collapsed, all three of them, because all three of them are far weaker today than they were when I took office.
Congressman, do you believe that Biden should be taking credit for that?
No, absolutely not. Let's remember what happened in Afghanistan. We armed the Taliban, and that created Al-Qaeda, who wound up attacking the United States of America. We meaning Hillary Clinton, backed getting rid of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, and that led to ISIS. So no, the reason that Russia and Iran are weaker right now has to do with many more geopolitical aspects than Joe Biden sitting there behind a podium trying to read off a teleprompter.
When Assad fled to Russia, this would have marked the end of the decades-long brutal dictatorship. But what we know, the current replacement, which again, this is temporary because this is a lot of moving parts, it happened over the weekend here, would be someone named al-Jawlani, former Al-Qaeda militant here, leading the dominant rebel group, and now rules Damascus. So someone who has former ties to Al-Qaeda, should we be optimistic that things have turned around? Can we trust this individual who's set to lead now Syria?
Again, absolutely not. Listen, you don't turn in your Al-Qaeda card and all of a sudden become this moderate person that wants to make sure that women and LGBT folks inside of your society have equal rights. It just doesn't happen. And let's remember, Lloyd Austin said he took the Taliban at their word when women would be treated equal in Afghanistan. So absolutely not. Once you're a member of Al-Qaeda, it's like being in the mob. You don't just say, I'm resigning my position today. So we have to understand and go into this with eyes wide open. On one hand, we can celebrate the fact that the Syrian people, groups of Syrian people who have been persecuted for decades by the Assad regime, about 50 years, him and his dad, that they have a potential for freedom. But we also have to understand that the people are taking over for that government and absolutely cannot be trusted in any way, shape, or form.
Certainly two different views there from President-elect as well as President Biden. We'll continue to watch and see how this plays out. Wisconsin Congressman Derrick Van Orden, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
You bet. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too. Merry Christmas.